Good morning, my friends. It's your old pal, PeaceLoveMusic, with another Stacks Morning Update brought to you live with DeOrganized Media in partnership with Bitcoin Live Decentralized Broadcasting. It is Friday, October 25th, and I do want to give a shout out to Colonel Perino, my dad. It is his birthday today. Fuck, he's old. 78 years old today. Happy birthday, Colonel. It is Friday, finishing out what an incredible week for the whole ecosystem, just crushing it. All sorts of good things coming all the time in the space, new things delivering. And oh, by the way, we got Nakamoto coming up in just 4 short days. Excellent time to be in this space. And we're just super excited about everything. Just a friendly reminder, this is a news show. We are not providing financial advice. All of our information is for information and informational and educational purposes only. Always do your own research. Never invest money you cannot afford to lose. And don't make your investment decisions based on my opinions about things. We're just here to provide information only. It is Friday. Finish the week strong, and then make sure you get out and touch some grass. The numbers look good. Bitcoin's up, just reached over that 68,000 level, coming in at 68,098 when I last looked. Stacks is ticked down 1 cent to $1.78. Actually, I think it fell down to the number 34 place in the coin market cap for overall market cap rankings. And the top 3 gainers over the last 24 hours on coin market cap are Arrow, Pendle, and Follow DeOrganized BTC on X for more. Not financial advice. Do your own research. The Stacks calendar for the day. We have so the weekly SIP call is at 11 a.m. Eastern time today, and we are trying to get more community engagement in that. We want more people in there giving their opinions, getting informed on what's being developed, and then giving feedback on their ideas on what would make Stacks better or apps better, so that we can make the most robust and community appropriate improvements to the Stacks ecosystem. So start getting involved in that. It's every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I know that I believe that there's something at noon with, I think Staxy has a show at noon and Landy has a show at 1. Those aren't on the calendar, but definitely look out for them, tune into them. At 2 p.m. is Good for Bitcoin, the Trust Machines show. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. At 3 p.m., Stacks Africa Friday, updates and chill session with the Freddie and his crew from Stacks Africa. At 4 p.m., Stacks Nigeria, pushing the narrative. That's Sam's group. Both of those are great projects in the space, or great groups in the space, great communities, I should say. And then at 5 p.m., Dan and Brad, the calendar shows it as Nakamoto Friday, but I believe it's now Purple Pill Friday. OGs in the space, always talking about what's going on in the week. It's a great way to get a recap, check in and chat with the people that are, building in the space and have their finger on the pulse of what's going on. Just a couple of things I want to say. Super shout out to Dr. Sue Chenta Sue from Alex coming on our show. And I know there's varying opinions about certain things with Alex in the community and what happened in the past. And we want to give everyone a fair shot. We're looking forward here. Our show is here to spotlight people building in the space and give them a platform to reach out to the community. And also the community has opportunities to engage with us as well. Let us know what they think about things. And we're looking to facilitate that conversation back and forth between the community and the projects. So we're always going to do that in a fair and honest and open way. And everyone's welcome to come on here. If you have something to say, come on. We'll be happy to platform anyone with their opinions. But I'm really excited about what Alex is doing. I want to see Alex survive and come back stronger and more robust. I think that's only going to help our ecosystem and also make whole the ones that have been hurt in that, the victims of that attack. Alex needs to survive and thrive in order to resolve that issue. So it's only going to help the space with Alex. Tune in at 10 a.m. Also, not on the calendar. There's a special event in just a little over an hour and a half right now. We have Andre Serrano coming on to talk about SBTC SIP 028, the signer criteria. It's regarding the rules for who's going to be, the criteria for who's going to be an accepted signer for the 15 signers to form consensus for pegging in and pegging out BTC to SBTC and back out. This is a very important SIP process, and we need to get the community involved. So watch the call, get all the information about the SIP, and then bring any questions or input or feedback you have to the SIP call at 11 a.m. and help us make this the best product we can when SBTC launches, because that's going to be just an absolute groundbreaker. It's going to open up all sorts of liquidity, all sorts of DeFi options for Bitcoin, and it's really important. And obviously, it's a huge add to our ecosystem. So definitely check that out, and watch and join, and let us know what you think. I do want to also shout out, it's Feel Good Friday. Nominate someone for a Talkovation Award. Go check out the Stackslink channel for the latest Talkovation Award. You click on the nomination form and recognize somebody who's doing good work in the space, inspiring you, supporting you, and or just producing good products in the space. And you can get a little bit of a little bit of recognition for nominating people as well. So definitely do that. And there was one thing on my news items all disappeared on me again. So there was one other thing, but and I can't remember what it was. Not a huge important thing, and it'll probably come back to me. But I do have our Friday guest, legend of Stacks Legends, my good friend and a tremendous asset to our community. Good morning, Jack. How are you today?
Oh, doing good. I think that waking up at 4 a.m. is just now my life. But maybe that's a function of aging. Maybe that's just a function of where we're at. Yesterday, Diego May from BitFlow put out a tweet, said, I don't want to hear anything about you guys talking about touching grass. Y'all asked for this. It's here. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but you asked for this. This is what you wanted. No touching grass. So it's
you can still. So I like to touch grass and get a little ass, right? And you can still do that at 4 o'clock in the morning if you got some ass.
It's true. Everything's converging right now. You can see it if you're plugged in. Good morning, Resh. Absolute legend.
Good morning,
man.
Resh. Good morning, Squidfin. And yeah, Roo.
When Resh is one of those guys in the Stacks ecosystem who has been so critical on getting us to where we are, and he's one of the unsung or lesser sung heroes. Like, he's just always working, always networking, always bringing cool stuff. So big shout out. The man's a legend. And if you've ever caught a podcast with Resh and I on the same podcast,
I was on one where I
we
look like
we're related.
You guys look like a yin yang node rock inscription.
It's true. No, it's true. But if you look at everything right now, it couldn't be more bullish. We're uniquely positioned. I tried to send a Bitcoin transaction last night, and the network was clogged. And like after an hour or whatever, I'm like, man, okay, I have to go to bed and just deal with this later. Sure. And so we're sitting here on the verge of fast blocks. We're sitting here on what I like to call stacks, even though it is somewhat of a simplification. It seems to help people understand Ethereum on Bitcoin, right? You want to be able to make Bitcoin usable. And that's what we can do, because you can't make Bitcoin usable if you're waiting an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, because there's millions of people trying to use it all at once. Because even now, if we're just sitting here degenning on the L1, it clogs up, and you're talking about a small amount of people. So Stacks really has its chance now to show everybody what we picked up on, as early adopters of Stacks, why the promise existed. We picked up on it to see the potential, and then now we're to the point where the potential's coming to be realized. So couldn't be more bullish on Nakamoto. We're going to see a lot of people coming from Bitcoin. We're going to see a lot of people coming from other blockchains. We're going to move up that coin market cap rating at a rapid rate, I would suspect. And we're going to see a lot more building and development. So it's important to have outlets like this where people can kind of not just get their word out about what they're doing, but also help keep the community informed. Even like today, I wake up and there's a message, hey, did you guys send out this particular token? It was airdropped to Rue people. And it could be like Rue gets airdrops all the time.
That was the other one. That was the other news item I wanted to touch on. The Fries token airdrop that may be a legitimate token. We don't know, but you guys don't know. It's not from Rue.
Right. So we live in an environment, in a blockchain, where you have to be better safe than sorry. Like, that's the thing that people have to learn. You have to immediately just exercise caution, operate slowly, because, we're going to see exploits. We're going to see more exploits. You remember, because you were an early ordinals adopter. So if you look at, like, everyone was just flying under the radar with ordinals, and then ordinals start getting kind of popular, and then bam, everyone's getting
as early as I could have been, because you got me into ordinals actually with Node Rocks. I kind of faded ordinals because I was like, why would anyone spend their Bitcoin to mint images when I can just do it on Stacks for way cheaper? That's actually what I looked at. But yes, I'm only early, like very late December 2023 into ordinals, and it was really because of you.
But that's the thing, man. Like, when people started catching on and people started printing, you started seeing Discords hacked one after another, people getting drained, that, and the other, and that's coming. So everyone in this community, we're so used to flying under the radar that we have to make sure we adjust, our OPSEC and our ways that we interact to make sure that what we're doing isn't going to wipe out years and years of work. Because, when you look at like how much money there is in exploiting people in crypto, anytime there's that kind of opportunity, not only do you have just random bad actors who might be kind of stupid, but you have highly sophisticated organized crime rings, just like you have that with sex trafficking, narcotics trafficking. That's what organized crime is. Organized crime is always going to find that place where they can maximize profit. And from a risk perspective, it's a low risk, high reward if you're someone who's already in that life, if you're already about that. So we have to be very careful as a community. We have to be very careful as individual users, because what you're going to see, you have a lot of people in here now who haven't been in a legitimate bull run yet. They've got taste, they've got shadows, they've kind of seen some pumps here and there. Like Ordinals has never really truly had its big bull run.
Right.
Runes have never really truly had their big bull run. People aren't like used to this. It gets nuts. Like, I remember, dude, in 2017 when Bitcoin Cash hit Coinbase, and I'm like brand new. I am so wet behind the ears, my collar soaked, right? Like I just see this thing on Coinbase, and I'm trying to get by, and I'm just trying to buy it and buy it and buy it, and like I can't, because every time an order goes through, it's already, so much higher.
Yeah.
Well, when that's on Coinbase, you have a much less risk profile operating on a Coinbase, but that same dynamic on chain, and when you're trying to do that, still exists, because the human part of that is what had me just desperately trying to get in, not knowing anything.
What you'll experience on Coinbase now is likely, as we've experienced a few times now, when it starts to rip, is that they will have technical difficulties and you won't be able to actually take advantage of that.
Is Coinbase the circuit breaker for BlackRock and whatnot? That's an interesting question at this point, but yeah. And at any rate, it's just a caution for everyone to just be careful, take your time. The one thing that you'll learn about the market when you have time in this market is that there's always opportunity. You're not ever going to miss the one big play that would have made you. There's always going to be more opportunity. And you know what? You don't have to get in at the exact bottom of anything to make a profit, and you don't have to sell at the exact top to make a profit. If you can internalize these ideas and execute well, and that's why we always say not financial advice, because when you get right down to it, everyone's got a different risk profile, and based on your tolerance of risk is going to dictate how you act in these situations. And some people, have very high risk tolerances relative to others. So if I buy something and it draws down immediately, I'm going to act differently than someone who doesn't have my same risk tolerance, and vice versa. And then that feeds into how much experience you have, how much you know, et cetera, et cetera. So just be careful, guys, because it's about to get nuts over here. It truly is.
And there's going to be emotions no matter what you do. So if you don't have a plan, your risk of actually fucking it up for yourself goes up dramatically. So have a plan. Don't make decisions lightly in what you're going to invest in. Set a dollar amount where you're going to take profits and do your best. It's hard to execute it once you're there, by the way. Once it reaches your point where you set this is where I'm going to take my profits. Usually that number is in the middle of some crazy, parabolic move. And the sentiment in the space becomes so euphoric that you feel like it's never going to go down. Why would I sell now? That's actually usually your top signal when you start feeling that way. That's the time where you should pull the trigger. Don't wait, because then you watch it correct and you're like, oh, it'll come back. I missed my chance, but it'll come back, and then it may not come back for a couple of years. So you got to execute.
And it's true. So that's why that useful heuristic is when you want to show your wife a screenshot of your P&L. That's probably your signal to de-risk a little bit. But I like STX City a lot. I think it's something that's a net benefit to the Stacks ecosystem in a major way. I have a lot of respect for the dev. He's very responsive, very just showing it. The dev for STX City is the reason I'm so bullish on crypto in general. I'm just going to have to add this caveat real quick, because as long as an anon can hop on his computer and bang out some code in a permissionless environment, there's never going to be a monopoly on this technology, right? But so as much as I like STX City, and I think it's something we needed, and I think people are starting to wake up to that. When I go buy something on STX City in the bonding curve, 10 STX, 100 STX, maybe max, just because that's my risk tolerance, right? I'm not going now. I'll take something that there's already established, and I know that this is a goal or this or that, and I will happily go hard on something. But if I don't know the risk, if I'm just this might just be a short-term play or this, so that's how I do it. But I can't translate that to anybody else. You can't there's too much biochemistry involved in this other individual for you to perfectly be able to tell them. I get people ask me all the time, what should I do about this? What should I do about that? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I can't tell you what to do, All I can tell you what to do is you have to figure out your own shit so that you can be most successful. And here's what I do know. Here's how I figured out my own shit. So maybe this will be helpful to you. But I certainly can't tell you what to, whether you should buy this or buy that or do this or do that, because there's too many factors. There's too many variables,
Right. Well, the one thing maybe a couple now, but the one thing you can tell people to buy because it's your project is Rue.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dude.
you have, and I can also, it's not my project, and I'm not giving people financial advice, but I am super bullish on what you guys are building there. That's something that I can absolutely look at and say, I don't think it's a bad idea to have a bag of Rue, and maybe even increase that bag a little bit if you have some, because it's there's a lot going on in the project. But I'm aware of what's going on with the project. I know the devs, I know the founders, I know what they're building. That's why I can speak to that with conviction. Something in the bonding curve and there's some cool projects in the bonding curve that have come out of the bonding curve that are still in the bonding curve. I have one that was really just a meme and fun thing to do, but you never know how things might turn out that we got out of the bonding curve. But it's a lottery ticket. You don't know, it's a lottery ticket until it does something, until you know what the plan is, that the roadmap is actually there. So that's, you need to do your own research on a project. That's what it all boils down to.
No, look, here's the deal. Like, I got something for the community that's paying attention right now. You're getting something from us today. Okay. If you've whitelisted and you're a Rue holder and a Stacks Invader holder, you're getting something from us that I think is going to be really cool going forward. Be on the lookout for it. It's non-transferable NFT. And it's going to be coming from the stacksinvaders.btc BNS. But so if you want to talk real quick about the way I think, I'm bullish on runes. I'm bullish on this idea of Bitcoin meme coins, right? It makes perfect sense. Like, back in the day when you used to trade at Bittrex or whatever, you could trade Bitcoin pairs with these ERC20s and so forth. And that just makes a lot of sense to eventually get to a point where you can now trade memes on Bitcoin. So I'm bullish on them. So when we're like discussing what we're doing for the Rue community, if I'm comfortable with making a bet on runes being more bullish than they are now, then that's the direction I want to go in, right? And then the overall thing with Rue has been, we want to allow the community to participate in all different aspects of the upcoming cycle as it relates to Bitcoin. And so that's just where our head's at, because I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. So if you know what you're bullish on, if you know what's coming or what you think's coming, you have to be able to develop your own conviction. I have very small Solana bags. In fact, I have just really pathetic Solana bags, because I think Solana itself is something that is going to probably go much higher in a bull run. But in terms of memes and so forth, I'm not sitting there trying to compete with the bots and the latest TikTok trend and all this stuff. I'm not trying to just in and out that fast, because I feel as though, okay, there's more opportunity on Bitcoin, because at this point we've gone from Bitcoin just being something you can hold to now making Bitcoin very, very functional on a level that has not existed yet in the space. So obviously it's got the most, it's the biggest asset, it's the most secure asset, and now we can do stuff with it. So obviously I'm going to be most bullish on things related to Bitcoin. And since Stacks is the leading L2, I see some people tweeting and be like, oh, this L2 has this many wallets, this many users. Where are they? Where are they? Where are those users? I don't see them. I don't see them on the timeline. I see some shills here and there, but who's really doing what? As far as I can tell, in terms of Bitcoin L2s, Stacks has got the most mind share by far. And now, since I've been paying attention to stacks, I know Nakamoto speed is just days away. So obviously I'm going to make my biggest plays on stacks, right? And then I'm like, okay, now I see this opportunity for L1 traders to come to the L2 and have a much better trading experience with things like runes, and you'll see it with ordinals as well, where people can actually really trade and not wait for 30-minute transactions and all this. So obviously we're going to take the day one runes that we etch for our community, and now's when we run with this. Now's when we go, let's maximize opportunity. And you can apply that to your own trading style. You just have to be able to develop your conviction. You have to be able to survive. You have to be able to take your bags and manage them in such a way that you can stay in the game, because no matter how low you go, you can always come back. You can make it all back in one trade. That does happen, right? It's happened to me. So it's just a way. It's something to keep in mind, and I'm extraordinarily bullish on what's going on right now in terms of runes trading hitting stacks. I think that it is going to be massive for stacks in terms of onboard people.
Massive for stacks and massive for runes too.
Yeah.
It
could facilitate their real bull run, right? It could be one of the things that really facilitates that, because I haven't paid a ton of attention to other things that have gone on the L1 in terms of Merlin or this one or that one. But I know that Bitcoin finalities come into stacks. I know that stacks is highly interoperable with Bitcoin. I know these things because I've seen it happen. I've done the research, and that makes me think, okay, the runes are really going to be unlocked for stacks. And that's when we're going to see, if you're bullish on runes, you have to be most bullish right now to take max advantage of what's happening. So that's like just a trip inside my head, right? That's and you develop that through time in the market. You develop that with having enough attention to having enough experience to form your own valid convictions, and then you do that. So Jack can't tell you what to do. Peace can't tell you what to do. And other than be safe, be smart, figure out who you are and how you relate to the market, and have a good time, because it's fun. And you have a lot of people have to shake off some bear market PTSD because it's fun.
You know what? It's fun, and nothing against the other communities you mentioned, like Merlin and some of the other L2s. But the community here at Stacks is different than the community in runes and ordinals is hyper degen, right? It's super fun, actually.
Yeah.
But the community engagement in stacks is something I haven't quite witnessed, where you got all of these people that are creating things, and then all of these users, and they're starting to come together. They're starting to be a community, very interactive. And then also you've got all these different people that are players in the space and building stuff, but they're all also interconnected with other projects that are building, and they give each other feedback, and also guidance, and are willing to help the people that are coming along building at the grassroots level too. There's tons of availability from, everyone's super busy, right? Because there's all sorts of stuff going on. But even as busy as they are, the core devs are reachable, and willing to give you some guidance and help you out, as long as you're willing to do the work. They're not going to write your codes for you, right? But they're going to help you figure out how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to function the way or how it needs to be to function the way you want it to be. And then there's also all sorts of other, I haven't seen anything quite like this, where it's so engaged and there's such a collaborative and friendly spirit amongst so many people in the community.
Yeah. And
I also want to shout out LMNO. Gary said hi earlier. LMNO, Reese, and 300 all just giving us some shout outs this morning. Speaking of our community, I mean, just a bunch of chads, everybody, Resh earlier, there's just so many
100%.
awesome people in this space.
No, dude, it's fun and it's awesome, and I do really truly enjoy this community and think it's the best one that exists in this whole entire space. That's been my conviction for a while. And it's funny. I was talking to Dylan, the co-founder of Bitflow. You're talking about I found this to be a profound way to explain it. If you want to talk about like how and why you could be bullish on things like runes coming to stacks for trading, he said, using like magic eating to buy and sell a rune is kind of like buying a rune off of eBay. It's true.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
It's true. Like, so when you think about how you like to trade, you like that instant feedback, you like that chart, you like being able to, especially for the degens who are sitting here degening in and out, this, that, and the other. So pay very close attention to what you're seeing happen from Bitflow right now, because that's going to be a pretty big unlock in terms of bringing people from Bitcoin into stacks. And the other thing I think that people should be paying very close attention to is the AI dev working group that has that trading competition this week with their AI. Like,
that's another thing I was supposed to mention in the news. That's
why you got me, man. I can be your ticker. Yeah, I got you.
You have to come on every day. Yeah, I registered for, that's a weekly call they have too. And I registered for it, but I just couldn't do it because I had other stuff I had to do yesterday. So I was in like 4 or 5 different, between the morning show and the StacksLink call, and then the DeOrganized live podcast, and I joined into the Rue call. Like, it's just every day. But yeah, that AI BTC working group, I gotta get into that. Everyone should be getting into that. And if you're not following AI BTC, go to aibtc.dev. I think they've already filled up all the slots for the competition, but you might be able to get in if they're still open. I don't think they are, though. I think they filled it up yesterday. But I am registered for that competition, and I will be playing with some trade bots. I'm going to use some alternate strategies. I'm going to tell my bots to buy high and sell low and see what they do.
Because here's the thing, man. Like, that's probably the biggest alpha, because the guy who runs the AI .btc dev, that he's been saying for years now that Bitcoin will be the money for AI. And that makes perfect sense. Just like Bitcoin's preferred crypto for, now we're getting to the point for nation states. Why wouldn't it be the preferred way to transact for AIs? And now you have stacks with the capability to facilitate that. Going to be a massive unlock. You have several things in this ecosystem right now that are going to like contribute to the growth and boom in stacks. You have obviously the fast blocks. This has been a missing piece of the puzzle, because you can understand the value proposition and most people will stick around, but that's not most of your users. Most of your users are going to see, oh wow, this takes forever. They've never used Bitcoin before, so they think 10-minute blocks means it's a bad blockchain. Okay, that's going to be where most of your people are. That's why Stacks hasn't gotten as big as it's about to. So you've got that piece. Then you have like Bitflow taking runes from the L1 into Stacks. That is also going to be a big unlock. Then you have the AI developments. That's one of the hugest alpha, plays in crypto for this next year. And then the other thing that I've been screaming from the rooftops for over a year now is Velar is bringing decentralized perp trading. Okay. So let me explain something to you. Before I came to Stacks, before DeFi summer, I lived on BitMEX and Deribit. Okay. Back then you could still do it with just a VPN. You didn't have to, you could just make it work. So many traders like to trade decentralized, and there's been even more countries that disallow that kind of trading now. Like back then, even Canadians could just trade like that. Now they can't anymore. The fact that decentralized perp trading is coming to Stacks is going to bring so many degens to this chain. It is insane, right? So people need to pay attention. And as far as I can tell, these are the biggest things that's going to act as like major funnels to bring people into this ecosystem. And it's going to foster even more development. It's going to bring more builders. It's going to bring many more users, because the development and the liquidity, they meet with the degen. That's where development and liquidity meets. They meet with the degen, right? And so you're going to bring more liquidity and more development, and it's going to be wild.
Yeah, and that's all facilitated by fast blocks. None of that works without you cannot do perp trading and wait 10 minutes for your trade. You can't do it. That's not possible. So and we're finally almost here. I mean, I feel for the projects that have been waiting to be able to launch this on Stacks for now 5 months since Nakamoto, 6 months since Nakamoto was supposed to launch. But we're finally here. 4 days. It's a done deal. They've already shipped according to Trip, and I might be using the wrong terms because I don't really know what I'm talking about here, but Trip said that they already shipped the binary to the project devs. So for the hard fork. So and he explained that means it's a done deal. Like it's happening on Tuesday on block 867. How it goes still remains to be seen, but they feel very confident that it's going to go smoothly based on all of the prep work. And it seems like they've done a lot of prep work to make sure that this is going to happen. And I think we're all better for it. Even though the devs on these projects might have been ready for it back in April, there's no denying that they're going to be even more ready for it now with all of this extra time to work out their bugs and probably be all better for it once it goes live, because they've had such an extra amount of time to prepare. But it's going to be, I don't think it'll be like Tuesday and then everything's crazy, because it's going to take a few days for some of these projects to even launch, and then it's going to take a little while for the community the users to start engaging with it and understand how it all works and everything. But give it a couple months and it's going to be like just absolutely bananas bananas in this space.
And you're right, because here's the deal. Like the thing that I find hilarious is when people are like, people don't even say this in a root console anymore, because I think that there's certain topics that people have my response to them memorized at this point. But like when marketing, right? That's the thing you always see in Discord groups and telegrams for your assorted projects. You see it on the timeline. When marketing. And marketing means different things to different people. For me, marketing means building an organic community, right? Like I don't need some shiller company dude or whatever advertising Rube, because if he was really as good as he says he was, he would recognize the market cap and get a big bag of it and then just go ahead and work for his bags. But I believe in organic community. But the fact of the matter is, there's no better marketing than big green candles. So you would have even people in Stacks a year ago, 2 years ago, like, man, Stacks needs to market more. They need to do this. They need to do that. When marketing. Shut up, moron. It's a bear market. It was like a bad bear market at the time. Like, right. I don't care what you've got. going on, much less you've got stacks that still isn't ready for prime time. I don't care what you've got going on. You could burn up a marketing budget of a major corporation. If the macro is bearish, nothing's going to happen.
Marketing doesn't happen if there's no ROI. There's no ROI for marketing in a bear market. No one's buying big into a project like that. And to be honest with you, you shouldn't be buying into a project because of the marketing anyway. You know,
right. So like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, but the macro is it's already bullish, right? It's already bullish. It's about to get super bullish, dude. So all the timing's lining up perfectly because those big green candles are coming, and they're coming in hard.
I am absolutely making a GIF clip of Jackbiswitch saying, "Shut up." And that's going to, anytime someone says something stupid like that, just playing it for them. That's going to be my troll post for the next 6 months.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's like it people have to learn, right? So you can give grace to people, but that is an annoying tagline that is not going to work. I've seen small cap projects grow to 100 million cap plus just because the right conditions were in place on the macro. Like, no amount of marketing is going to do that if everyone's bearish. And if the market's bearish, it's bearish. There's nothing you can do about that. The market's bigger than your will. If anyone could will the market into a bullish sentiment, I'd do it. I'd be working my hardest to do it every day, but that's just not how it works.
It's not how it works. And if you're actually making your investment decisions on a project based on their marketing, you deserve what's going to happen to you.
It's true. No, it's 100% fact. But the overall conditions, man, it's everything seems to be aligning up very nicely for us in this ecosystem. And really unlocking Bitcoin's capabilities is going to be a massive thing for everybody. Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen, what mass adoption is going to look like, regular people aren't like, okay, I've got cars with backup cameras on them. I think that's like a standard safety feature now, right? Because I'm not someone who buys a vehicle that's bells and whistles. So I couldn't tell you anything about the manufacturers of the backup cameras on my car. I just know that when I put my car in reverse, I can see shit on the dashboard. That's all I know about it. Right. That's what mass adoption is going to look like for crypto, right?
Right. Most people won't know a damn thing about it, and you're absolutely right. And also, just for on the note, like, I have a backup camera, but I've been driving so long, I don't use it unless like I'm in a real tight situation and I remember, oh yeah, I have it. I'm not looking at my backup camera. I'm looking behind me because that's just my force of habit. Yeah. So a lot of mass adoption, they won't use the bells and whistles that we give them anyway.
No, it depends on how bad my neck or back hurts that day, because sometimes I just can't turn my head. Oh. But that's
I'm sorry, man. I know what that's like.
my very first job was parking cars for a hotel in New Orleans, right? I was still in high school. I lied to the owner about my age because you were only supposed to be 18 to do that. And so when you were parking these cars all day long, you had to back into the parking spots in the garage. And these commercial parking garages you want to fit as many cars in them as possible.
Right.
So I became a Chad at backing up vehicles. Like, me and my friends, we'd probably do things that are inadvisable for young people to do on the weekend.
Racing cars backwards.
Oh yeah, like just 3 a.m, just driving cars in reverse throughout neighborhoods and so forth. Like, yeah. But the backup camera is great for when I can't turn my head. That that happens too frequently. But what you gonna do? Like you either. I heard someone say once by the time you turn 50, you're either gonna have to see an orthopedic doctor or a cardiologist, depending on how you lived your life. So I'm like the orthopedic guy. at this point.
Yeah, definitely. It starts to degrade and it just keeps going. I wish I had better news for the people listening that are younger.
Yeah,
It
like
happens.
all that shit that you think happens to other people, it's gonna happen to you. Like, dude, I by trade I was a nurse. I had to learn all these things about people for years, and then go and learn with experience. And you're like, why do senior citizens eat dinner at like 4 o'clock? Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell
because
you why. Because after you hit a certain age in 40, like, you just don't digest stuff as well as you used to. And it's
well,
funny.
that plus you're in bed by 7 o'clock and you're awake at 3 in the morning.
I was talking to Gigapeppy in a Discord chat several weeks ago, and it's just like, hey, what's going on, this and that, because Gigapeppy does a lot of stuff for a lot of people. I mean,
Everybody.
guys, absolute
An
Chad.
unsung hero in the space. And I know he gets sung out a lot, but I mean, for all he's involved in and all he's producing, man, shout out to GPSC. Awesome dude.
And dude, like, we're sitting there talking, it's like 10 o'clock. He's in Eastern time, I'm in Central, so it's like closer to 11 for him. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm just getting ready to cook some ribs for dinner. They smelling good. And I was like, bro, enjoy that. Like, because if I went in my kitchen and ate some ribs right now, I would probably die. Like, you just can't. There's some things you just can't do as you get older. And you young guys, you just wait. It'll happen to you.
No matter what.
Yeah, that just ain't gonna work. Like,
he's a chef,
yeah.
by
But
the
anyway,
way.
I digress.
Chef.
When we have our room meetups, we know who we're gonna get to cater it then. That'll work.
Right. If he has time, if he's not booked up doing stuff for all these other projects he's working on, I think he's going to get too big for us probably.
And that's a good thing, because let this be a lesson. This is important, and I'm not going to say this in a mean way. I'm going to try not to, but there's no reason why Gigapeppy couldn't have been doing stuff all this time, except he just didn't have the exposure. Because people, so you have to be very careful about falling into the gatekeeping trap, right? Because now look at how much he does for everybody, and like, if it wasn't for a certain set of circumstances, it never would have happened. Because nobody, it's very hard to get your work out there. It's very hard to get known, and that's why things like this are so important, because it allows people to like introduce to other people's work and so forth. That's why, like, what Good Kitty does in the art realm is just so massively important, because we don't have any room for gatekeeping here. There's too much innovation to look forward to try to monopolize or like shut anyone out. Like, I know business is business, but the gatekeeping stuff it doesn't work, and it shouldn't happen. And so I'm glad that I hope Gigapeppy gets so big that like I can't get in touch with him because he's too busy. Like, that's what I
anticipate. That I mean, he'll always make time for you. He loves you and me. We know that he's such a good dude. But really, he is. That's the other thing I wanted to shout out. Kitty's show tomorrow. Tune in. She's got Lori coming on, spotlighting from the When Walls Break album coming out. So that's episode 4 for Block Tune. Tune into Good Kitty show tomorrow morning. I had all my set. Anyway, I got to figure out why that keeps happening. It makes it really awkward when I go live and then all of my news points are yesterday's news points. And my numbers
this newfangled technology. Yeah.
God damn cookie issues. It's not new. It's not new.
Yeah.
What? I could talk to you all day, and I wish we do have a little bit more time, but I have a show coming up at 10 with
nice.
Andre, And we're going to be talking about SBTC and the SIP 028. And we really need to get that information out to the community. Super excited about that. Staxy, Gary Reiger, Hero Gamer is going to be joining me and Haddy. Jack, you're welcome, but I don't want to obligate you because I know you have a lot on your plate. Always happy to have you on.
If the DeOrganized audience wants Runes whitelist, let me know. We'll make it happen. So
we definitely want. Yeah, I'm sure the audience wants some runes. When is that? When's the deadline for that?
It's we have to have the whitelist in by the 28th. So we're getting close here, but we definitely we want to, because we're dealing with Ordinals Bot because they're the pros in terms of like minting runes and so forth. Bruff Star, we should definitely try to have Bruff Star on here, dude. The guy's a Chad. He's been a Chad for years.
Welcome anytime. Where our door is open. So if he wants to come on and you have a chat with him, send him our way. We'll bring him on for sure. So so shouting out to everybody right now. We'll do a post today. All you need is a Stacks address, right?
Well, for this aspect, if you don't hold Rue or Stacks Invaders, you just need an Ordinals address. It's the address in your wallet, BC1, yeah.
To get a whitelist.
Right. Because we're gonna like blow minds. Like I've got news for these runes that is almost fully ready to share, but I'll drop some hints. Some hints have been dropped. Look at Hermetica's post. Look at what they've been liking recently. Look at Jacob's post.
Yeah,
we've got some massive news coming. So
people don't know. Yeah, if you don't have Rue and you don't have Stacks Invaders, you definitely want to get a whitelist spot to mint some runes. That's with 10 O's. Because there's probably going to be some fakes out there soon.
Yeah,
fake runes, runes,
and we're good because we got we were like the 1900th and some change inscription because it was on day one of the halving, dude. When everyone was doing these runes protocol, they were just coming so fast. So we got like 1900, and we didn't have like
super high. That's super high. Yeah. That's super early.
Yeah, so like. Anyone that comes along in the after effect, just look to see, what number runes it is, and you'll know it's the right ones. But you're right; that's a good point. There will be people trying, but again, I can't wait to tell y'all Alpha. I just under promise, over deliver. That's the thing we try to live by. So I don't want to say anything until everything is just solid as can be, but. It looks good.
We'll do a like, follow, retweet for the DeOrganized community. Drop your Taproot address, and then if people make it in, they make it in, and we'll have that over the weekend. It'll be finalized by Sunday, so you got to get it in. So be on the lookout for that tweet. And
there's going to be some butthurt, man, and like all you can do is try to tell people. Even in the Rue community, right? We've got 2 social hubs, and you try to get all this information out, and you just can't control who's paying attention at what time. So when it happens, you're gonna have to, man, why didn't I know? No, man, like this has been loud and public, and it's just like the Rue launch was loud and public.
Right. And that's a great point too. People need to know if you're interested in catching up, and you want to know what's going on with Rue and the Rue community. The console is the place to go get that information. That's where you're going to be most in touch with what's going on there. That's where you're going to get that information first. And then follow DeOrganized because Jack comes on and talks to us a lot. So, but the alpha comes out in the console first. So get into that Rue console.
Yeah, no, that's the best way to organize it. And what we want to see happen, we started building up the Telegram a little bit because I don't feel like arguing with all of these L1 people about what's console, all this nonsense. So we're going to funnel Telegram users into the console and get Bitcoin users in console. So that's going to be a part of this that'll happen. we've already got almost 800 people in the console. We're the largest crypto community there by far. So we're going to grow that as we keep going. But yeah, dude, I won't keep you. Thanks. Just massive congratulations for how you're growing the show, how you're growing this movement, because you have the teams, you have the developers, and you have the community, and now you have to. We all know it's established fact. Developers, anyone who's been in Stacks for a while even knows this. Developers just don't know how to communicate and how to communicate the most effectively. So this is conduit.
It's not on their purview. They're usually head down building, so they just don't have that. That's not part of their process. So we're happy to help lift that part up, and bring people to the community. And thank you so much, Jack, for your kind words and for supporting this show. I mean, this would never have happened. This wouldn't have happened if you didn't have me come co-host your Ahead of the Curve show, which brought me to Bitcoin Live, which helped me partner with Nick. And then also never would have happened. Hero's in the audience right now, and he's supporting everybody in the space. And it never would have happened without D Grants and that process and the community. Good Kitty and Haddy's instrumental helping out, and 300. Like, I could just keep naming people. And that's why I'm so excited about what's going on in this space. I could never have done this by myself. There's a huge community behind us with what we're doing, and that's true throughout all of Stacks.
And it needed to happen. Like, crypto media sucks. DeOrganized is awesome. So why don't we just make DeOrganized the crypto media? That's what needs to happen, right? So this is off to a great start. You're having parabolic growth, and just congratulations. And I'll always do anything I can do to try to help in any way possible, because this is something we need, period.
Well, I'm going to keep doing it. And we are growing. We are looking for some partners. We have some plans in the works for how we're going to evolve. But there's great stuff coming. We're going to keep doing this. The community is super supportive and engaged, and we love it. And it is a lot of work, but I love doing it. I love chatting with you and bringing other people on, and just kind of just having these conversations in a way that allows everyone to kind of put their perspective out there. We need to actually get everyone's perspectives. We don't want to stifle conversation. We want to be open. We're pro communication. We're anti-censorship. We're for open discussions, and it's okay for you to be wrong. You can have a wrong opinion or a wrong position, and we should all talk about it. That's how we grow together. That's where we find our common ground and can move forward together. That's what we're trying to do here with DeOrganized. Support the Stacks ecosystem, help grow the Bitcoin economy, and help onboard users in a way that makes sure that they have good experiences, they understand what they're getting into, and that they have access to find out how to do things that they want to do when they don't really know. Like, that's really what we're here for.
Knocking down that learning curve, man. That's a key.
Right.
Crypto's got a steep learning curve, and anything you can do to knock it down. You watch DeOrganized, get in a good community. These kinds of things really will help your development. And because I was real quick, I was talking to someone yesterday. He's like, man, I spent hundreds of hours wasted watching YouTube videos about crypto. Like, I was like, but now you know better.
Right.
And now you're in a position to save.
Still learned, right? Even though it wasn't time wasted.
Right.
You got to learn your lessons. You can't learn someone's lessons for them, but you can help put the information out there for them to learn them maybe more quickly. And that's really
now save 100 people 100 hours, right? And that just grows exponentially. So that's what this is all about,
right? Number one, look before you leap. That's rule number one in this space. Don't trust, verify. It's a hard world. There are people out there looking to take advantage of the ignorant, and there's nothing wrong with being ignorant, except for acting like you're not ignorant of the truth of things. And that's where you get yourself into trouble. It's okay to not know, you got to then take that effort to find out, you know.
Yeah, I went and got a bunch of certifications to be a firearms instructor because I love guns and I love shooting, and I it's just one of my favorite things. And I was like, wait, I'm gonna have to sit here and talk to a bunch of dudes who already think they know everything to like do this. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like, I ain't got the patience for it. Like, I'd have to certify all women, and I ain't got the patience for like the spouse side of that. So I'm just gonna shelve this plan and really shooting my guns.
Yeah, but you still got all that you still grabbed some valuable knowledge when you were picking up those certifications, even if you're not using it in the way you thought you were going to. So there's value in everything. It's all about perspective. I got a wrap. We made it to an hour. Yeah. Thank you all for everyone watching us. Follow Jackbiswitch if you're not. I'm sure you are if you're watching our show. Get some rue. Get on the white list for some runes, and touch some grass this weekend. I know somebody doesn't want us to say that, but I think it really is important actually for people. It's a super busy time in the space, but it is important to also step back and give yourself a chance to kind of just kind of sit in your thoughts for a little while, right? And recenter and recharge so that you can hit them again tomorrow, right? You know, take a day here and there. It's not going to kill you. I have to go. I love chatting with you, Jack. Always a pleasure. Every Friday morning, Jack comes on with the DeOrganized show, and the people love it. They have spoken. They keep tuning in and watching us, so they must like what we have to say. Jack, you have an awesome day. If you can, I'm gonna send you the link for the show. If you can jump into the show at 10, absolutely feel free. If you can't, I understand. And
I have a meeting, right? I have a call related to runes. It's
I just want people to know you're always welcome. And the reason you're ever not on something that we're doing is just because you have other stuff you have to do. But we love Jack. We want him on all the time, and we're happy that he makes as much time for us as he does. Thank you, sir. You have a great day. Have an awesome weekend. I love you, brother. And we'll talk soon. We are DeOrganized. Tune in just the top of the hour, just about 40 minutes from now. We're going to have Andre Serrano talking about SBTC's SIP 028. Heroes coming on. Staxy, Gary Reiger, Haddy's going to be with us. It's going to be an awesome show. Tune in, and y'all have a blessed day. We are DeOrganized. Peace out.